Sebastian, be a good boy and marry me the day we were supposed to shoot our wedding photos. Hudson dumped me for his childhood sweetheart. I turned around, grabbed his sworn enemy, and forced him to finish the shoot with me. Later, when I posted the gown shots on Instagram, Hudson texted me to take them down. I haven't even decided whether I'll marry you. What's the point of this shameless pressure? Clear it up right now. Say the groom wasn't me. I don't want Sabrina upset. From the other end of the call came his rival's lazy drawl. Why are you barking? You're waking my wife. Word had it the mighty young master of the Shaw family lost his mind on the spot. He tore through a torrential downpour, drove the length of the city, and spent the night outside my gate demanding an explanation. We'd just struck a pose when Hudson's phone rang. Hudson. A fragile voice slid through the speaker. Sabrina, his little green plum sweetheart. What's wrong, Sabrina? I don't feel good. Will you take me to the hospital? I'm on my way. Lie down and rest first. The moment he hung up he was already turning, frantic. I've got to run. Sabrina's sick. I sighed in defeat. I'd spent weeks preparing for this shoot. I'd watched the forecast, booked the dream photographer, lined up 3 gown changes. The crew started set dressing at 6, I was in makeup at dawn. I'd thought of everything, except Sabrina. Everyone's worked for hours. Can't her family drive her? Besides, Sabrina was fine. This was just her favorite leash to yank Hudson and nauseate me, and Hudson fell for it every single time. Audrey. His face darkened, he barked over me. Sabrina is sick and all you care about is pictures? God, you're ice cold and selfish. Then he was gone, tires spitting gravel, leaving me frozen and the crew exchanging awkward glances. I stared at the dust drifting behind his car and felt my heart finally go cold. Vance, what do we do now? With the groom gone there was obviously nothing to shoot. Will Shaw come back? Should we wait a bit? I knew he wouldn't. Whenever Sabrina summoned him he lost the whole day. Next to her I was always the afterthought left holding the bouquet. Suddenly I was exhausted. I was done with this rerun. The location was an influencer hotspot, packed with tourists. I drifted through in my wedding gown, glazed and empty, drawing stares and whispers. Hey, isn't that a bridal shoot? Where's the groom? The schadenfreude came from behind me. I turned. Sebastian stepped out of his roles, eyes pitying. Told you, never audition to be somebody's doormat. He was Hudson's nemesis, frosty and razor-tongued, happiest when slicing Hudson down. After I started dating Hudson I'd become collateral damage. I used to argue back, now I only looked at him, numb. True. Anything else? Say it all while you're at it. I was already roadkill, another tire track wouldn't show. Maybe my blankness bored him. He cocked a brow. Still waiting for him? Wait. Hell no. I'd grab a handsome man, shoot gorgeous photos, and please myself for once. The decision lifted the weight off my chest. I sized him up. Sebastian was unfairly attractive, tall, lean, tailored to within an inch of his life in a charcoal suit, pure devil in Armani. Perfect specimen, perfectly available. Waste not want not. He must have felt the spotlight, his eyes narrowed. What exactly are you plotting? Scared? Relax, I don't bite. I snatched his arm. I prepped too long to waste this. Groom's AWOL, so you're up. Audrey, what do you take me for? He studied me through Arctic slits, the words ground between his molars. A paid model? You, for once the silver tongue stalled. I'll pay you. Get lost. I stepped flush against him. Even in heels my crown only reached his lower lip. I yanked his tie, brushing my thumb across his mouth. Stop rejecting me, we'll look incredible on camera. A red bloom crept up his neck, he coughed. Why should I? Then send me a male model. Phones and handbag. We're in Hudson's car, no cash, no ID, but the shoot was happening. You're absurd. I twisted the tie harder. Option A, you. Option B, a replacement. 60 seconds. Vance, Audrey. First time I'd cracked his armor, amusing. I'm right here. Save the volume for the gym. His gaze dropped, stormy and unreadable. I glared right back. Time's up, you're defaulting. I told him to set and, on tiptoe, whispered against his ear, Sebastian, old rumor says you've never kept a woman. If people see you bolt, they'll decide the equipment's broken. I'd known him years and never spotted one, not even a passing fling. Gossip claims every mosquito around him is male. What are you implying? Nothing, just hoping for your enthusiastic cooperation. Under duress he turned out to be a dream. The photographer kept praising our chemistry and joked about booking us for magazine spreads. 3 by dusk we wrapped. Sebastian drove me home. Where to? Lakeside. It's the mansion enclave where Hudson's family had prepared our marital penthouse. He gave a cold snort, walls back in place. My stuff is in Hudson's car, have to retrieve it. The explanation softened him fractionally. Sebastian hated everything Shaw by default, that he'd posed for photos and chauffeured me at all was a miracle. Hudson was on the living room sofa, Sabrina tucked under his arm. When he saw me he slid out from under her, looking guilty. Her family's swamped, so she's staying here for a bit. Help look after her, okay? Sabrina gave me the wide-eyed sparrow look. Vance, I'm so sorry. If I'd known about the shoot I'd never have called him away. He patted her shoulder. It's fine. Photos can wait. Your health matters. I studied the pair and suddenly laughed. I'd long smelled smoke, tonight I saw the fire. Hudson always swore she was a little sister. Pretty close siblinghood. A livid hickey glowed on his neck. When he caught my stare he looked away. Sabrina wore my silk pajamas, shrinking cutely against him. Hudson, I think Vance hates me. I was so tired of the performance I smiled. Save the big sister routine, Mom only had me. You're 2 years older. In old dramas the concubine calls the wife sister when she covets her seat. If you want him, take him. I gift wrap Hudson, no curtsy required. Women should respect themselves. Also, my clothes don't flatter every skin tone, but keep them. Just remember, swiping people's belongings is tacky. Sabrina's face bleached, tears welled. Hudson exploded. Audrey, enough. Is any of it untrue? I get that you're mad the shoot tanked, but don't overplay it. With this attitude I think we need to reevaluate the marriage. Let's take a break. The Vance family needed the Shaw alliance more than vice versa. He thought he held the reins. Not anymore. Reevaluation unnecessary, we're done. You're perfect for each other, why skulk? I bless this coupling. Stay locked, don't infect anyone else. Break up? Shock flashed across his eyes, my first time raising the axe. Then fury. Fine. Whoever crawls back is a loser. Remember those words. I went upstairs, packed, and marched down just in time to hear, Hudson, what if Eleanor blames you? Relax. Audrey will fold, she has to marry me. I walked past without a glance. Hudson laughed behind me. Temper tantrum. When she comes begging, it'll be too late. Think it over, Audrey. Step out that door and reconciliation goes off the menu. My fists clenched, but I didn't stop. Beg? Never again. For Sebastian's car idled at the gate. He lounged against it, smoking, moonlight carving his profile like marble. When he saw my suitcase he flicked the cigarette away and took the bag. Where now, Vance? I shook my head. Not my home. Not since Mom died. Taoyuan Apartments on Anderson, then. It's the tiny condo Mom left me, the only thing in the world that's truly mine. You really ended it? He sounded skeptical, studying me for cracks. I pointed at the house and passed him my phone. Girl posts she's sick, he jumps into her bed, literal bed. If I don't dump him I'm basically an accomplice. On the screen Sabrina's newest Instagram, *Cubby Hudson is the best. Ditched his bride shoot to nurse me back to life, teehee. *, a selfie of her curled against his shoulder. Sebastian glanced and handed the phone back. Good riddance. If you need a shoulder, I considered. Didn't hurt, didn't itch. Maybe I'd run out of disappointment. Thanks, but I'm stocked. Silence the rest of the ride. At my building I said goodnight. He hesitated, then said nothing, watching until I disappeared upstairs before driving off. 5 When Brielle heard I was single she ordered me to her city for a breather. I was scouting startup ideas anyway, we could brainstorm. So what next? Hudson's gone, will the Vance family whip up another merger by marriage? Brielle was seriously worried about me, she knew exactly what my family was like. My father had already been sleeping with my stepmother before my mom died, and they'd even had a kid together. Now the whole house danced to Victoria's tune. The only use Richard still had for me was as a bargaining chip in some merger by marriage. Honestly, you should cut the Vance family loose, Brielle said. It's not like you'll ever see a dime of their money. If you're scared they'll unload Audrey, let's buy it first. If you're short, I'll lend you the cash. Audrey was the company my mother built from nothing, her life's work. I was 10 when she died, and ever since, Richard and Victoria have kept it under their thumb. It's also the leverage they hold over me. The second I graduated, Dad ordered me home to play fiancé and grow feelings for Hudson. Brielle, meanwhile, has picture-perfect parents who dote on their only daughter. They bankrolled her startup, and now she's killing it in South Point, financially free before 30. Still, I turned her down. These past few years with Hudson I'd quietly built my own portfolio. The dividends are solid, and I've even opened a design studio. Or someone else's name. Between that and pooling favors, I could probably scrape together enough to buy Audrey back, but it's already mine, and I intend to reclaim it without writing a single check. My fear is Dad will strip it first, I said. Right now the books look okay, but they could hollow it out and leave me an empty shell. Brielle slapped her thigh. Let's run it past Sebastian. The man's a walking scheme, he'll spit out a plan in 10 seconds. Him? I'll think about it. Sebastian and I don't travel in the same circles, but for Audrey I was willing to swallow my pride. No need, she said. I'm pretty sure I saw him in South Point earlier. I'll call and see if he wants to meet. If he bites, great, though his fee will probably cost a kidney. Brielle dialed him right there. When she hung up, her grin was pure mischief. At first he said no, claimed he was already in bed. The second I mentioned you needed him, he agreed. Girl, does the Frost King have a crush? I considered it, then shook my head. Since the day he drove me home after the photo shoot, we hadn't exchanged a single message. 6 He showed up in under 30 minutes. The weather had turned warm, but Sebastian was still impeccable, dark tailored suit, perfectly knotted tie, like he'd dropped by a boardroom instead of a bar. What's up? He slid onto the banquette beside me, waved the bartender away, and poured himself a glass of plain lemon water. After Brielle laid out the Audrey situation, he angled his body toward me. You only stayed with Hudson because of this company? Brielle rolled her eyes. What do you think? You could have told me sooner. He tugged his tie loose and undid the top button of his shirt. There's a play, but it can't be rushed. If you want it handled, leave it with me. Brielle's radar pinged. Since when are you charitable, Sebastian? Name your price. He studied me for a beat. Am I really that terrible? Get real. You'd skin a angel for spare change. I don't want Audrey walking out with the company only to walk into your trap. Quote us a number so we know how deep the water is. She'd done deals with him before and still called him Scrooge McVampire. He exhaled, half smiling. Being nice is thankless work. Then he switched gears and looked straight at me. I called you a dozen times, why didn't you pick up? After Hudson and I split, I'd shut off my main phone and left town. Only a handful of people had my burner number. I tapped my temple. Sorry, what did you need? Can't I call just because? I was curious if our wedding photos came out. Brielle's head whipped around. Wait, wedding photos? Her finger volleyed between Sebastian and me, her mouth forming a perfect O. You two took bridal shots? When did this fling start? I'd only told her Hudson bailed on the photo shoot, nothing about Sebastian filling in. Sebastian's mouth curved. Ask her. I cleared my throat. Hudson ghosted me. Waste not, want not, Sebastian happened to be around, so we used him. Oh, please. Since when does the Frost King take orders? Sebastian doesn't do favors. She wiggled her brows. I sneaked a glance at him, collided with his gaze, and felt my cheeks ignite. No wonder he sprinted over the second I mentioned your name, she whispered, yanking me close. Spill, when did you snag Riverdale's boogeyman? I racked my brain, aside from kidnapping him for the photo shoot, we'd never been alone. Whatever. Sebastian, swear you won't skin her alive. His eyes never left mine. I swear. 7 When the bar closed, Sebastian led the way out. I was hailing a cab when he doubled back. You still haven't shown me the wedding pictures. He stood under the street lamp, suit jacket slung over his shoulder, smile lazy. I cocked a brow. You want to see them now? Which hotel? I'll drop you. The ride took 15 minutes. I climbed out, turned, and found him leaning against the car, watching me. Impulse hijacked my mouth. Still want that viewing? His smile widened, he followed me in. The elevato R was empty. The air thickened. I looked up, bang, eye contact, and quickly stared at my shoes. He lifted a hand, the back of his fingers brushing my cheek. Tipsy? I flinched. Not even. Sebastian's gaze darkened. He braced one hand against the wall, caging me. Afraid of me? No. Warm breath tickled my ear. I tilted my chin, and he kissed me. His mouth tasted faintly of lemon. I answered the kiss without thinking. That tiny response lit the fuse. He cupped the back of my head, pinning me to the wall, deepening the kiss until the doors slid open on 8. Room number? He asked, voice rough. I sagged against him, whispering, 803. I didn't know what he saw, flushed cheeks, glassy eyes, swollen lips like ripe cherries, but heat flared in his gaze. You started this, Audrey. He scooped me up. The door had barely clicked shut before my back met it, his mouth on mine again, slower this time, drugging. When I finally surfaced for air, he made no next move. I fisted his tie, yanked him down, and nipped his lower lip. Sebastian, are you broken? Rumor around town pegged him as either impotent or gay. Careful, princess. His smile turned dangerous. I was going to let you sleep. The second the words left his lips, he crushed me against the door, kissing me hard enough to steal what breath I had left. He lifted me, thighs around his waist, and carried me to the bed. Sebastian spent the next hour proving, beyond all doubt, that every rumor was dead wrong. I finally clung to his shoulders, whimpering, "Okay, I give, Sebastian, I was wrong." Only then did he slow down, kissing the tears from my lashes, brushing his lips across my forehead, my eyelids, the tip of my nose. "Never tell a man he's not up to the job," he murmured. 8 across town in a private Kingston club, Hudson lounged in a haze of smoke and top-shelf whiskey. Wang Jia scrolled through his phone. "Yo, Hud, Audrey's in South Point?" Hudson took a long drag, brow creasing. "If she's begging through you, you're picking the WR. On paycheck, Jay. Relax, man. Someone just posted a pic of her partying down there." Hudson's face relaxed a fraction. They hadn't spoken in a month, he figured she'd crack eventually. She'd actually dumped him, right in front of Sabrina, and Hudson wasn't about to crawl back. He opened Instagram, nothing from Audrey. Whose story? Brielle's. That tracked. Brielle was Audrey's ride or die, of course she'd run to her. He tapped into Brielle's latest post, Audrey holding a cocktail, eyes smoky, smile lethal. His gaze snagged on the corner of the frame, an unmistakable male wrist, millimeters from her thigh. Audrey never let strangers invade her personal space. His jaw clenched. "Who's the suit?" Jay blinked. "What suit?" Zoom in, genius, dark suit, Richard Watch. "Find him. Now." The room fell silent as Hudson's fist slammed the table, knuckles bleeding. "Could be just a friend," Jay mumbled, though the watch screamed Sebastian. "Better to play dumb than trigger a midnight manhunt. You ever see her cozy up to any of us like that?" Hudson snarled. "Maybe call her," someone offered. "I'm not crawling," Hudson snapped. Jay tried, straight to voicemail. So did the others, same result. Audrey's socials had been radio silent for weeks too. "Try tomorrow," Jay said, eyeing Hudson's shredded knuckles. "Let it go for tonight." "She's dead to me," Hudson muttered. "But if the Vance Empire starts feeling a squeeze, maybe the little princess will learn respect." 9 Brielle's call dragged me out of bed the next morning. She had a free afternoon and wanted to drag me through South Point's boutiques, and maybe spill every last detail about last night. My whole body ached, and just as I was about to refuse, Sebastian slipped his arms around me from behind and nipped my shoulder. "I'm free too, let's go." Cornered, I gave in, told Brielle we'd come, made small talk for another minute, and was about to hang up when she said, "Do you have a cold? Your voice is so hoarse." "No, maybe the air's due. St dry." I fumbled out an excuse, ended the call, and Sebastian rolled on top of me. "Audrey, when are you going to tell your friends about me?" Seeing my blank stare, he frowned. "You're not planning to ditch responsibility, are you? I'm not a one-night stand you can file and forget." Honestly, I hadn't even thought about it yet. Wasn't this mutual consent? He bent down and sucked hard on my neck. "Doesn't matter. You slept with me, you claim me. Or are you dissatisfied?" His eyes flared hot again. "Satisfied. Totally satisfied." Recalling last night's madness, alarm bells rang in my head. I praised him nonstop to spare myself another demonstration. I scrambled up and dashed to the master bath to brush my teeth. In the mirror I saw the trail of marks, especially the bright red hickey on my neck, and worried whether foundation could hide it before I saw Brielle later. While I was lost in thought, Sebastian walked in, wrapped himself around me from behind, and coaxed at my ear, "Audrey, since you're satisfied, will you be my girlfriend?" "Sebastian, if I say no, will you still help me?" His face deflated, eyes dimming. "That's what you think of me?" "I'm sorry." My mind was a mess, the relationship talk had come out of nowhere, and I could only apologize. He turned, walked back to the bedroom, dressed, and left without another glance. 10 after Sebastian was gone, I crawled back under the covers for a nap. When I met Brielle, she looked me up and down with a wicked smirk. "One night and you're a different woman, what happened?" I shoved her. "We fooled around until she flashed her phone. Hudson called at dawn asking who the guy sitting next to you was. You're really done with him, right? You posted on Instagram? Duh. You showed up, I had to show off." She pulled up the photo. I caught Sebastian's hand in the shot. "Hudson phoned all night," he flipped. She laughed. "I told him it was a random hit-on, our Audrey's a magnet. He lost it. Ignore him, don't even answer." The men. Tyon of Hudson left me cold. I hung out with Brielle for days. She introduced me to business contacts and several potential deals. Before heading back to Kingston, I switched on the phone I'd shelved for a month and scrolled through messages. Missed calls, Hudson, family, some friends, even Sebastian. On WhatsApp, my half-brother Tristan had left a voice note. Audrey, gotten too big for your boots. Get your butt over here and apologize to Hudson. I could practically see his ugly face. I ignored him and let him stew. Among the messages were a few from Eleanor, Hudson's mom and my late mom's best friend. She missed me and asked me to call. She'd been kind, and she'd pushed for my engagement to Hudson, but that door was bolted now. Feeling conflicted, I texted back that I was traveling and would visit her in Kingston. When I opened New Friends, I saw a request. It's Sebastian. I accepted. He texted instantly, up yet? I'll pick you up for lunch. 11 in the morning. He'd walked out of Audrey's hotel. Sebastian felt suffocated. Did she think he'd helped her only to pressure her into bed and force her to be his girlfriend? What did she take him for? Last night had felt mutual. He'd thought she wanted this as much as he did. Afraid he'd lose control, he'd needed air. He went back to his own suite, changed, and met some business associates. During his South Point stay, he closed several more deals. A friend invited him to a jade auction. Local jade was famous. The final star lot was an imperial green bangle. He pictured Audrey's porcelain wrist and knew it would look perfect on her. He bid through 100 rounds and won. The moment the hammer fell, he left, desperate to fasten it around her wrist. She'd hijacked his thoughts. He was going crazy. He couldn't pinpoint when he'd fallen for her. Women had tried every trick to crawl into his bed. He'd found them repellent. Only Audrey, the night she yanked his tie, hadn't repulsed him. After that, she'd vanished, until Brielle Menchio. Ned, she was here. Now that they'd slept together, she still rejected him, yet she'd started it. Inexperienced in romance, he asked his assistant, if a woman sleeps with you but won't date you, why? You mean Vance? Boss, you spent the night with her? The usually composed assistant's eyes glittered with gossip. No wonder the boss had gone overboard at the auction. Noticing Sebastian's icy stare, he sobered up. You two barely know each other. Expecting commitment after one night would scare anyone. The explanation diffused Sebastian's anger. He realized he'd rushed. Relationships weren't takeovers. He wanted to call Audrey but worried he'd seem clingy. Just then she accepted his friend request. He typed, up yet? I'll pick you up for lunch. He hit send, then told his assistant, pull over. Bewildered, the driver obliged. Sebastian stepped out, tapped on the window, out. The assistant had barely exited when Sebastian slid behind the wheel and sped off, leaving him wind-ruffled. The boss goes full puppy and I'm the one left in the cold. 12 at the South Point Business Gala. Sebastian picked me up. When I stepped out of his car, Brielle dragged me aside. Spill, what's going on with you and Sebastian? The vibe is nuclear. We slept together. I came clean. Holy hell, did he force you? Recalling how I'd initiated it, I squirmed. I started it. Are you official? Not yet, I'm still deciding. Her gaze landed on the bangle. Damn, that dog. He bought it at auction the other day. Now it's on your wrist. Is it expensive? I know nothing about jade. Peanuts for him, he could smash it for fun. He seems serious. In business he's a shark, but he'd make a better boyfriend than Hudson. No childhood sweethearts lurking. I sighed, conflicted. I know he's great, but I just dumped Hudson, and the gap between our bank accounts is Grand Canyon size. I don't want another lopsided love. If I date again, I refuse to be the dependent one. So what if you just broke up? Hudson collected sighed. Chicks like stamps. You're not obliged to mourn him. Equality isn't about net worth. If he loves you, he'll kneel. Love sands off every edge. Don't rush to reject him, see how it feels. She grinned. The Frost King finally fell. Karma tastes sweet. Get revenge for me, okay? She wiggled her brows. And? Performance rating? I glanced toward Sebastian. He stood talking, posture crisp, head above the crowd. Remembering the past few nights, my throat went dry. As if he sensed me, he looked over and walked up. Audrey, what are you two plotting? Nothing, just scouting prospects for Audrey's next boyfriend, Brielle chirped. I nodded along. Sebastian cleared his throat, smile half formed, eyes darkening. So that's your plan, Audrey? He was joking, but the air turned arctic. 13 later, female intuition proved terrifyingly accurate. After the party, Sebastian drove me back to the hotel. The moment the door clicked shut, he hooked an arm around my waist. I mumbled something about washing up and bolted for the master bath, but he followed, pinning me against the vanity. How did you rate the other men tonight? Before I could answer, he bit my neck hard. I didn't get a good look, I protested. He cupped my chin, forcing me to meet his eyes. Should I summon them one by one for your inspection? His kiss crashed over me, feral, possessive. When he finally released my lips, he lifted me onto the counter, one hand cradling my head, the other yanking my hips to the edge. I lost track of time, my bones felt ready to scatter. Sebastian wasn't finished. Audrey, still planning to window shop? I hung off his shoulder, whimpering, Sebastian, are you going to look at other men? No, no more. I was almost sobbing. Audrey, do you love me? I do. Good. I love you too. Be my girlfriend? His voice softened, coaxing at my ear. Okay. At that moment I was the fish on his chopping block. 14. Once my phone was back on, Tristan's call came fast. Audrey, where the hell have you died? I fell. Nothing for my half-brother and stayed silent. Cat got your tongue? Then Dad barked, you ignored Eleanor's calls? Think you're independent now? Get over there and apologize to Eleanor and Shaw. Not going. If you've still got poison to spit, get it all out now. I answered coldly. My stepmother's voice came through again. Audrey, we know you've been wronged, but for the sake of the Vance family you have to endure a little. Business is brutal right now, Vance's cash flow is in trouble and we desperately need the Shaw's backing. Help your father, he's getting old. Could you bear to watch decades of his work go down the drain? You've been off playing long enough, time to come home and apologize to Hudson. He's a reasonable man. Victoria had always been a smiling tiger, gentle face, vicious heart. Almost every source of my pain traced back to her, yet she played the loving mother so convincingly that even Eleanor believed she treated me well. Except the Vance isn't mine, so it's none of my damn business. You. Ragged breathing burst from the speaker, I'd clearly hit a nerve. Audrey, if you won't cooperate, forget ever getting A-Star Media. My father was apoplectic. They knew A-Star was my weak spot, so they held it hostage to force me into a marriage that would feed their empire. Whatever. I was done letting them pull my strings. If they wanted to sell A-Star, fine. Even if no one helped me, I wouldn't bend. I saw it clearly now. For Mom, my happiness had mattered most. Family call? Want me to speak to them? Sebastian had heard the commotion from the study. He walked over and wrapped his arms around me from behind. No need. Not family, they don't qualify. Given their shamelessness, if they knew I was with Sebastian they'd extort him for millions. Sorry you went through all that. But your mother's company will be back in your hands soon. Get ready to take the throne. A shadow slid across Sebastian's eyes. 15 back in Kingston, Sebastian and I picked up the wedding shoot proofs. I chose a few solo shots and posted them on Instagram. Within minutes my feed detonated, congratulations flooding in. I didn't clarify, Sebastian and I were actually discussing an engagement, so the buzz wasn't entirely wrong. At that moment Hudson was having dinner with his crew when someone blurted, yo, bro, you finished the bridal shoot and didn't show us? When did you and Audrey secretly make up? Man, Audrey's stunning, lucky bastard. Let me see. The guys crowded in, critiquing the photos. How come you're not in them, bro? Hudson set down his glass, opened Instagram, and saw Audrey's post. Breathtaking didn't cover it. He remembered storming off that day, ditching her for Sabrina, and felt a twinge of guilt. Yet 3 months had passed and she still hadn't come crawling. She'd simply tossed out these photos like breadcrumbs. Fury flared. What wedding photos? She staged that herself. I never agreed to marry her. She'd be a suitable wife, beautiful, and his mom adored her, but her pride was too big. If she apologized in person he'd still throw Vance a lifeline. He'd softened when her father begged yesterday. Trouble was, the Vances took the favor while she stayed silent. Tate Ping and the others exchanged glances. But bro, tons of people are congratulating her and she's not denying it. Hudson snorted. Typical chick tactic, pressure me into proposing. Just then Sabrina rang, sobbing, Hudson, are you really marrying Audrey? Her voice used to melt him, now it grated. He muttered something soothing and hung up. He blamed Audrey for posting without warning, so he left a comment, since when did I agree to marry you? After that he kept refreshing, but Audrey never replied. Anxiety gnawed. What was she doing? Why ignore him? 16. I was about to answer Hudson when Sebastian plucked the phone from my hand, darkened the screen, and tossed it on the table. Good girl, time for real business. He kissed my eyelids, I melted, unable to wriggle free. Just as things got hazy the phone rang, again and again. I glanced toward it. Still distracted? Guess I'm not trying hard enough. No, word swallowed, Sebastian the super jealous jar. I slid my fingers into his hair and kissed back, he gentled, slowing the pace. After the storm we felt wrung out. Exhausted, I mumbled, so tired. Sebastian carried me to the master bath, rinsed me, and tucked me back into bed. The phone shrilled again, it had rung several times earlier but we'd been busy. Sebastian scooped it up, squinted at the caller, smirked, and answered. After countless redials, Hudson finally heard the line open and hit speaker. Audrey, I thought we were taking a break. This shameless pressure is pathetic. I haven't decided to marry you. Clear this up, now. I don't want Sabrina upset. He exhaled, relieved. Yo, which kennel did you escape from? You're waking my wife. Sebastian fired back. Who's that? Hearing him curse, I opened my eyes drowsily. Just a rabid mutt. Sleep, Audrey. He ended the call, flung the phone aside, and curled around me. 17-inch was that Sebastian's voice? Bro, you sure you dialed right? Hudson stared at the screen, fists clenched. Numbers correct. His hand trembled. The guys, sensing trouble, offered, maybe Sebastian found her phone? He'd hoped so, until he heard her voice, soft, husky, languid, the same tone she had after they made love. The thought that she was with Sebastian, maybe tangled together when he called, ignited him. He grabbed a bottle and smashed it, shards sliced his skin. Glass flew, liquor pooled. Bro, chill. He was past listening, rage and disbelief roaring. Bottle after bottle of top-shelf booze exploded in his grip, his hands soon crisscrossed with bleeding cuts. Let's hit the ER, man. When every bottle lay in ruin he slumped into a chair. Once the fury ebbed, pain bored deep, he'd never imagined her in another man's arms. He'd assumed she would be his wife, even if not his ideal match. He lurched up. Tate P. ING followed, where to, bro? See for myself. At least bandage up first. Tate Ping hesitated. Spit it out, Hudson snapped. Word is, they really are together. Remember that South Point auction 2 months back? Sebastian paid crazy money for an imperial jade bangle. Next day it was on Audrey's wrist. Ice flooded Hudson's chest. They've been an item that long? Tate Ping swallowed. Yeah. Great. Just great. Hudson laughed bitterly and stalked out. Bro, it's thundering and pouring, and we're clear across town, 40 miles away. He couldn't hear a thing. Blood from his right hand dripped as he tore a strip from his white shirt and wrapped the wound. Wang Jia glared at Tate Ping, nice timing, genius, then chased after them. 18 Hudson floored the accelerator, silver Maybach slashing through the storm, lightning strobing, visibility near zero. Twice he almost clipped the guardrail, but he didn't care, he had to know. Advance Mansion he finally pounded the door, only to be told Audrey hadn't been home in ages. Richard looked defeated, the stubborn girl's changed. Won't answer our calls. Hudson slammed the wall. She hasn't set foot here once? Not for months. We're estranged. Richard dialed futilely, Hudson sneered, blocked you all, huh? His face darkened, Audrey had Sebastian backing her now. Wang Jia ventured, maybe try Sebastian? Hudson stood mute, staring into the downpour. Rain lashed harder, Wang Jia dragged him inside. Soaked and silent, Hudson sat on the sofa, the blood on his hands had thinned to pale pink. Wang Jia sighed, bro, truth hurts, but you screwed up. How could you ditch her on the photo shoot day? A bride dreams of that moment, she poured her soul into it, then you bolted after Sabrina's call. Anyone would freeze over. Hudson finally stirred, eyes bloodshot, voice raw, you think I went too far? Little bit. Then why the hell didn't you warn me? We thought you didn't care. You barked orders at her like a servant, we figured Sabri Na was the one you loved and Audrey was just family homework. I never loved Sabrina, it was just. He'd screwed up and shattered her heart, yet resentment still gnawed. He sat until dawn. When his phone rang he lunged, saw the name, disappointment flashed, Sabrina. Hudson, where are? I don't feel well, come home? Another ache, another whine, he was sick of it. See a doctor. Calling me won't cure you. Sabrina whimpered, why so mean? My stomach, you're always dying. If life's that hard, just die already. He hung up, seething. 19-inch bro, let's crash for a bit, Wang Jia yawned, eyelids drooping. Hudson stood and walked out, Wang Jia trudged after. Where now? No answer. He just needed to find Audrey, hear it from her own lips. He slid into the driver's seat, floored the accelerator, and remembered Sebastian kept a penthouse downtown. Hudson thumbed a message into the group chat, send me the address to Sebastian's city place. A reply popped up a minute later. He raced over and pounded on the door for ages, no answer. Wang Jia jogged up. Hudson, I asked security, Sebastian hasn't been here in months. Another dead end. Then where the hell is he? Wang Jia swallowed. Hudson, why don't we just call him? Running around like headless chickens is nuts. Hudson's eyes went arctic. Wang Jia hurried to add, I'll dial. Sebastian picked up at once and gave the address. East Side, Taihang Road. Let's roll. 2 hours later they idled outside Sebastian's mansion. Wang Jia rang the bell. The housekeeper cracked the door. You're here for Frost? She seated them in the living room. 1 cup of tea later Sebastian finally appeared, hair still damp, silk pajamas hanging open over a carved chest, a sight nobody ever saw in a boardroom. Sorry, just got out of the shower. Didn't mean to keep you. Where's Audrey? Get her down here, I need to see her. Sebastian's smile curved, half amused, half lethal. Hudson, she's my wife now. She isn't on display. Bring her down. If you won't, I'll go up myself. Sebastian accepted a coffee from the housekeeper and stirred it lazily. My wife's still asleep. She wakes when she wants. If you'd like to wait, be my guest. Hudson's eyes flared murder bright. 23 months had carved Hudson into a stranger, face haggard, eyes blood-webbed, every trace of his old swagger scraped away. When I reached the foot of the stairs he shot up, staring like I might vanish. Audrey, you're really, together? Yes. A cracked laugh tore out of him. So what was I, your placeholder? You dump me and jump into another bed? I never knew you were this kind of woman. Grief flickered beneath the rage, his voice cracked. Come home with me. I'll forgive you, just this once. He lunged to grab me. Sebastian stepped in, tucking me behind him. Hudson, we broke up that day, remember? Since when? Since the bridal shoot. You left me standing there, took my handbag and phone, and went home to sleep with Sabrina. Need a replay? My face stayed flat. It was an accident, me and Sabrina, he whispered, begging with his eyes. Audrey, I've missed you like hell. Let's call it even. I won't hold this thing with him against you, and I'll cut Sabrina off today. You say we're over? I refuse. Can't we go back to the start? Sebastian scoffed. Who do you think you are, bargaining for her? Hudson's flush climbed to his hairline. He jabbed a finger at me. Audrey, say it yourself. I met his stare, word by measured word. My point is, we split long ago, it's finished. Sebastian and I are good, no, we're great. I love him. Saying it aloud, in front of the world, made Sebastian's lips tilt. He squeezed my hand. Audrey, I love you too. Enough. Hudson's roar rattled the glass. Veins pulsed in his temples, teeth ground audibly. He gulped air, then spat. Audrey, do you even know who he is? How long have you known him? A week. I shook my head. Time isn't the point. Wife, you've made me the happiest man alive. Sebastian brushed a kiss to my forehead. Hudson's face went slate gray. He swung a wild punch. Sebastian caught his wrist, flung him off. You had her and threw her away. Now you want to play tragic hero? Save it. Hudson hit the rug, sat there dazed, eyes glassy with despair. You really don't care anymore. Heart of stone, Audrey. Wang Jia hauled him upright. Hudson, let's get out of here. Hudson staggered out, but at the threshold he twisted back. This isn't finished. 21 My phone detonated, calls and texts from the Van Cess, from Eleanor, even from Hudson's father. Hudson threatened to pull every Shaw deal unless I agreed to marry him immediately. I stopped running. One by one I told them, Hudson and I were done, period. When Dad realized I wouldn't budge, he barked that he would sell Audrey and had already ordered an audit. Tristan rang to gloat. Think Sebastian actually wants you? You're a toy, sis, nothing more. He and Dad showed up at the gate trying to storm the complex. Security kept them out. I happened to be leaving just as Dad screamed, ungrateful brat. You'll ruin us? We fed you, clothed you, shipped you overseas, this is how you repay us? I looked at him, ice cold. Who's ruining the Van Cess? You've piloted the company into the ground and want me to buckle for the crash landing? Feeding and housing me was the bare legal duty. How much of Mom's estate did you pocket? All you gave me was table scraps. As for college, shipping me abroad was just a ploy to keep me away from the board. Be a man, give back every dime that belonged to my mother. Years of bile spewed out at last. Dream on, he sneered. You won't get a cent. Since you won't crawl to the Shaws, I'll sell Audrey to patch the hole. He spun away with his entourage. Before he could sign the papers, Vance was sued for a $1 billion claim. Plaintiff, Hanhai Corporation. Vance's accounts were hollow. The court awarded Audrey to Hanhai. Hanhai's controlling shareholder, Sebastian. When he transferred every share to me, I asked how he'd pulled it off. See? Ample trap, he shrugged. Dance was desperate for cash, any contract looked good. I buried a clause, then sued for defective delivery. I narrowed my eyes. No wonder Brielle says you're rotten to the core. He cleared his throat. Only to people who deserve it. Besides, Audrey was always yours. I just repossessed it. Audrey had stayed independent under Mom's veteran executives. The handover felt like a sigh of relief. Audrey, watching you reclaim it, our promise to your mother is kept, they said. Weeks later Vance filed for bankruptcy. Dad, Victoria, and Tristan sneaked out of the country under cover of night. I haven't seen them since. 22 with the Vance chip worthless, Hudson tried twice more to corner me. Bodyguards bounced him off the property. Then Sabrina announced her pregnancy and dragged him to the altar. Wang Jiao rang late one night. Audrey, could you talk to Hudson? Just to calm him down? I owe him nothing. I get it, but he's broken. Sabrina stormed his parents' house, wailing she'd hang herself on their gate if he doesn't marry her. She's got him on a choke chain. I stayed emotionless. Sounds like a perfect match, mutual torture. You're ruthless. 3 years together, can't you spare a kind word? Regret? Was someone holding a gun to his zipper? He's trash that won't own his mess. Before hanging up I added, don't update me on Hudson again, Sebastian doesn't like it. Sebastian hauled me against him, nose brushing my neck. Hearing you stand up for me, best feeling in the world. Hudson's wedding came fast, scheduled days before our own. Eleanor rang, sounding exhausted. Audrey, I regret letting Ahui fall into that girl's clutches. She threatened suicide at our door, our faces are ruined. We've had to move. Mothers forgive sons, outsiders pay the price. I offered polite sympathy. She surprised me, would you wait a few years, for Hudson? I hesitated, then said gently, Eleanor, we're announcing our engagement next month, marrying by year-end. I hope why? Oh, you'll come. I'll skip Hudson's ceremony, wouldn't want to upset the bride. Ah. I see. 23 I didn't expect Hudson at my wedding, yet he arrived, an aging diamond necklace in hand. Months had aged him a decade. I didn't ask, but gossip travels faster than champagne. Sabrina waddled after him everywhere, cursing any female assistant who asked for a signature. She slipped one day, lost the baby. Afterward she spun into full-blown mania. Hudson committed her to a psychiatric ward. Eleanor weeps daily, convinced her son's life is ruined. Choices have prices, he's paying in full. The music swelled, the officiant stepped forward, and our ceremony began. Hand in hand with Sebastian, before every witness, we spoke our hearts and vowed forever. From this day, summer carries cool breezes, winter brings warm sun, and I have us. The end.